I'm supposed to open this event, so welcome everybody, including all the authorities in this room. I only have 5 minutes, I was told, for this, so I had a very long, boring speech for you. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of things that hopefully will be of interest to you. As Jane said, yes, I founded Carter Capital together with my partner Bilal, who, I don't know if he's here. I've been in the business of digital assets for 10 years, more or less. I'm an engineer by training, and I was the person that opened the Standard Chartered Bank in Switzerland, and then I was in the board of directors at Kramer, a bank from Lugano, a place nobody here knows, just a tiny little place in Switzerland. I'm Swiss. I was certified by Pricewaterhouse and by Standard Chartered in London and Switzerland. That's our qualifications. But none of that is important, as Jane said. I'm a ski guide for the blind in Switzerland for 20 years now. That's the only thing I'm proud of, to be honest. All right, so about the WOW Summit. Well, the first edition was on 2021 in Dubai. Today is a 2 days event. It's luxurious, as you can see. We're in a fantastic place. We've been announcing 1,000 guests, 100 speakers, 30 countries represented, and this was done with prior Lisbon and Hong Kong events. Hopefully those numbers will become true. We don't know. It will be part of the event. What are we going to talk about it during the next 2 days, which is perhaps or the only really important thing for you? Well, how do we embrace financial empowerment? That has to do, obviously, with empowering 1.5 billion people in the world that don't have access to bank accounts. It's a very important thing. We're going to talk about the future of Web3 in the UAE. Globally, it's a pure mess because of legislation. We all know about it, but we're trying to fix it out. We're going to talk about the biggest trends, the trends really of Web3 impacting the economy. Fintech unicorns in the UAE. I'm very curious to see them and see what they have to say. Real-world assets and blockchain, I'm going to touch upon that in a minute. Decentralizing Web2 gaming. Gaming is the fastest growing business in our area. And for as long as they use blockchain technology and Web3, we're okay. That is really the future of part of what we're doing. And then we're going to speak about digital wallets and payment providers. As you very well know, blockchain technology is merging into finance and particularly working on payment options. That is probably one of the biggest trends that's coming out. That's what I'm observing for the last 10 years. That's where we're there now. So, a little bit about Carter Capital. Let me sell my company for a second so you understand who we are. We're a digital assets management firm, founded in 2017 in London, but we moved to Dubai, the headquarters. We advise clients on digital assets. That means the following. We advise your wallets. We're non-custodial. We never have 1 cent of anybody in our accounts and sleep really well that way. We have 4 strategies. We've done 50% on average return during the last few years for our clients, sometimes more, sometimes a bit less, but it's about that. We also develop asset-backed Web3 projects I'm going to talk to you about in a second. And we are an OTC operator via our own regulated firm in Canada. So that is the way we do our OTC deals. Now, tokenizing the real world, and there's going to be a lot about that during the next 2 days. This is what we're doing. We have 2 projects. We're tokenizing a $1 billion mine of lithium in Chile. We're starting the process. We think we're going to be in the market with 9 to 12 months, more or less. The major 3 exchanges that want to list us have told us about an upside of 5x on opening. But I'm an old Swiss banker, so I don't speak about that. For me, 1x is fine. If we can make one time the money for our investors, that's great. And the reason why we're doing it is because really we want to democratize the ownership of lithium. If any of you want to buy a kilo of lithium today, good luck. You can't, all right? So what we're going to try to do is the following. If the price is $1 per token, or for NFT, we don't know what's going to come in the market yet, that's going to represent so many grams of lithium in the ground, right? So the other reason why we're doing is we want to provide liquidity to lithium mines. You probably heard that about 2 weeks ago, there was a huge new reserve discovered in the US of lithium. It's unfinanced, all right? There's no money to finance it because it's very expensive. It's extremely expensive. So we're trying to provide liquidity. And the second project we have is we're NFTing 100 million trees in the Amazonian basin. What we're going to do is very simple. Every tree will be an NFT owned by anybody that wants to own it in the world. And the canopy of the same trees will be traded as carbon offsets, carbon credits. That's what we're doing. So the big airlines will buy this, et cetera, et cetera. But the reason why we're doing it, which is obviously financial as well, but our real reason to do it is to protect the local populations in the Amazonian basins. Right now, big companies are destroying the Amazonas, and the cannibals don't have anywhere to go to. Can you imagine some comes and destroys your neighborhood? Where do you go to live? That's their problem. I spent a couple of months ago 1 week with the cannibals in the northern part of Brazil, and I saw them, in their own practices, whatever they are, and I have respect for whatever they do, but they have a territory. They have families and children there. We're trying to protect these people. And obviously, our other reason to do it is we're trying to do conservation in the Amazonian basin. If we're all alive here and we're breathing, it's thanks to the Amazonian basin. People don't realize that. There are two major elements in the world on the technical side, the ocean and the Amazonian basin. Without that, we don't breathe because the system cannot work. So that's what we're doing on asset tokenization. But we're heavily, I'm sorry about this, it's not a very good slide, but we're heavily involved on the environmental vertex between environment and technology. So prior to the COP28, 3 days prior to the COP28, we have this conference together with the Swiss government and the Swiss Business Council. It's a buy-side conference. That means only investors in the room and only companies pitching to those investors. It's much smaller than this event because it has one specific reason, which is to finance those companies and provide knowledge on that vertex. My understanding is that this is the only buy-side conference prior to COP28. It's what is called a side event to the COP28. We have the director of the event here. Geraldine, can you stand up for a second? That's the director of the event. If you want to talk to her about participating, please do so. All right, so that's it. I was given 5 minutes. I think I'm within the 5 minutes. Does anybody has any questions? Otherwise, we go to the next speaker. Any questions on the lithium or on the Amazon basin? No? Fantastic, because we're late. Oh, wait.
Where are the biggest lithium reserves in the world?
Very good question. Let me ask you this question. Where are the biggest oil reserves in the world? Do you know? No, nobody knows. I'm an engineer by training, so I can tell you technical answer. So we don't know, but what we have found out so far is Bolivia, Chile, and Peru in South America, and 2 weeks ago, a huge amount of lithium in the US. But I, myself, as an engineer, as a technical guy, I believe there is lithium everywhere. We just haven't found it yet. But there is lithium. It's just that it is very expensive to go and explore that. The good part on it is that lithium, I don't know if you have ever seen a lithium mine, lithium is on the surface. Different than gold, you have to dig, you actually can see it. So probably with the satellites, we'll be able to find out a lot more. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic question, very good question. So what we are doing right now is we're working with a few mining companies in Canada that have processes that are, I wouldn't call them ecological, but they're much more sustainable. So we're only accepting companies that have sustainable processes to process that lithium. But further than that, your question implies something else, which is very important. We don't have too many alternatives to fossil energy, all right? But the ones that exist there are not all of them perfectly clean. I'll give you the example of lithium. We put lithium, you have a telephone right now, a cell phone? Your phone is full of lithium right now, all right? Any electric car, whatever, is full of lithium. So the problem we have is, what do we do with that? We don't know what to do with lithium today after the battery is dead. So we have that problem. But on the other hand is, like Germany is suffering today. Any Germans in the room? All right. You all went back to charcoal last year. All right? You know that. And there's a reason for that. It's because the ecological party, and I'm not getting into politics, push for electricity from nuclear out. All right? So the problem is when we do these things, what are the choices? What are the implications? And my recommendation, I advise two governments at the moment, my recommendation is go slow. Don't just make decisions because of that. But yes, we have that issue. And the other thing that people don't understand is that we only have lithium for the next 10 years. In 10 years, we are on green hydrogen. You know about that, no? So in 10 years, we're going to be running cars that are going to be running on green hydrogen. Why is that we don't do it today? Because if I put hydrogen in any of your cars today, you will blow up. That's the problem we have. We don't know how to do it. But in 10 years, there's going to be a change. So lithium is only for 10 years. Then we have probably green hydrogen to work with. Do you know what green hydrogen is, by the way? Most people don't. Well, there are different ways of producing hydrogen. Green hydrogen is the one that's produced with electricity from renewable resources. All right? Aeolian, whatever is renewable. That's the difference between it. Exactly, perfectly well.